The girl looked like he'd just handed her a birthday cake he'd personally baked and frosted. Chubbs was over there and unzipping it so quickly, I think he must have teleported. The others fell in behind him, thanking Cole, trying to pass a whole apple back to him. "I'm good. Thanks, though." When he turned back to Sen, his smile was still there, broadening under her look of utter contempt. But I could see something dangerous in his stillness, the way he cocked his head to the right. It was like a match waiting to be struck against something just slightly rougher. "I'm a little surprised, Sen. I would have thought you'd be ecstatic to have someone like this on the team. Once we get out of here, she'll be incredibly useful in helping us connect what we're doing to the rest of the world," he said finally, his tone light. "We're turning over a new leaf, aren't we?" Yeah, well, Sen had no interest in connecting us to the world. She wanted to burn it down around us. Still, there had been a question buried in his words, a challenge. The longer this went on, the more the other agents began to shuffle their feet, steal glances at one another. Some of the Greens, the fast thinkers, were clearly reading into this more deeply than the others, who seemed content to chalk the familiar tension up to the usual frustrations. He knows. Awareness prickled at the back of my mind. Cole might not have known the full details, but he must have had a sense they'd go back on their word to help us free the camps. He was baiting her, trying to get her to admit it in front of the kids. "I'd be happy to discuss my ideas with you," Senator Cruz said, "provided we have a way out of the city." The room's attention swung to me. "Yes, it's like we thought. They don't have enough manpower to be patrolling the streets and guarding so many miles of freeway. They've set up a few stretches that, at night, are just empty vehicles and floodlights." I walked over to the driving map of Los Angeles we'd pinned to the wall after finding it in a nearby car. I pointed out the 3 spots I'd seen in the soldier's mind, proud of how steady my voice was as shadowy images started creeping in at the corner of my mind. PSFs. The red-stitched psi symbols, zip ties, muzzle, money, guns. I couldn't look at any of the agents. Now that I knew what they really wanted, how they were going to repay me for getting their asses out of this city, a dark little voice at the back of my mind started whispering, "Lie." It wanted me to leave out a few key details, let them brush close enough to danger to get bruised. "Here," Cole said, passing me a pen. "Mark them for us." Gates muttered something under his breath, and I turned toward him, crossing my arms over my chest, meeting his gaze dead on. He looked away immediately, playing it off as he wiped his mouth and nose against his sleeve. That flicker of fear I saw in his expression was better for my confidence than the steadying hand that Cole dropped on my head as he leaned over my shoulder to study the marks I made. "I'm sure there are more," I said, "but these were the only ones I saw." Cole glanced around the room, silently calculating how many there would be per group if we only had 3 potential exits. 17 kids, 24 agents, down 20 from the group that had come to liberate HQ. 5 had died in the initial attack, and the rest had deserted. 8 groups of 5 or so. It was doable. "It'll have to be quick and timed exactly right," Sen said. "It could be hundreds of miles before we reach an area the EMP didn't affect, all on foot." "They had it marked on the map I saw," I said, uncapping the pen again and sketching out the area for them. Beverly Hills to the west, Monterey Park to the east, Glendale to the north, and Compton to the south. All in all, not a huge area, at least much smaller than I'd expected. "We'll assign teams tonight and head out in a few hours. 3 or 4 a.m.? "We need to talk our strategy through," Gates protested. "Gather supplies." "No, what we need is to get the hell out of this city," Cole said, "as quickly as possible. The others are waiting for us at the ranch." I gripped his wrist, eyes flicking toward the door. He gave me a slight nod before shifting his focus back onto the room. "Y'all need to hit the sack ASAP because we're rolling out in a few hours." "Yeah, that's right, Blair," he said.